Neilmah, Cope is still the problem, and Noble Esports are the teams that are in and left. We have two teams already qualified. That's going to be Enemy and their friends up top in memory of Gabe. Those guys are already a part of the North American Smite Pro League. One more spot remains, and those aforementioned three teams will be battling it out in a 3-game tiebreaker series against each other.
2-3 was their record after the day. 14 matches, 14 best of ones were played so far. Now, at the end of the day, we're in real hi-rez hours here, going overtime mode. 3 teams in more best of ones here between Neilmah and 2 other teams right now that is just eluding me for whatever reason.
Neilmah, Cope is still the problem, and Noble Esports.
Those 2 other teams as well. Thank you, F. And as we're going to be heading into the standings here, or picks and bans, whichever one is ready on the board, we're going to be looking at that as well.
Tony has just absolutely lost it. We're at the P's and B's, pretty please. Neilmah bans out the big man Z. Cope on the other side has a ban as well. They're going to land on Thanatos, the god of death.
Neilmah already taking Zeus and Ymir very quickly off the table, whereas Thanatos and Nike Cope is still the problem. Really want to get those bans out of the way as well.
Yeah, I mean, these are pretty much standard bans at this point. Just shouldn't surprise anybody. Neilmah, last time they first picked their support, which was Ymir. This time they banned it against themselves, and they're going to opt for the first pick, Sylvanus.
It seems that they wanted to prioritize the Sylvanus here more than the Ymir, and as a result, now Cope is going to rely on this Rataoskr pick here. Could be played in the solo lane for Cope. Yeah. Could still be played for MExiety if he really wants to, but more than likely not going to be the case.
Izanami here will be selected for Cope. We'll see how their Hunter opts to work with the Izanami, unless, of course, they want to toss her in the mid lane. Certainly something that we've seen before by the matron of zombies or whatever the hell she's the god of. Serqet and Janus on the other side will round out the jungle in the mid lane selection for Neilmah, where Geb is the support for Cope.
Surprisingly, Thor was still open, but they elected to go for the Serqet either way. And I think that this is more of a situation where they wanted to deny the Serqet for Cope and making sure that there was going to be no shenanigans with MExiety picking the Serqet and Rataoskr onto Cope.
Well, at the end of the day, look, I'm not calling MExiety one god wonder, because if you're going to play your best god and they're going to give you the opportunity, why not? But Neilmah's curious, just like I am, how deep is that MExiety god pool? You've played and performed well on Serqet all day. Now that we're here in the tiebreakers where everybody's backs are against the wall, play something different, my friend, and we'll see how it works out. Poseidon, the mid laner picked in virtually every single game, will be banned out, and we're going to see the other side. Agni will be forced to be selected. That was only played by Chaos today.
Very smart ban of the Poseidon, because it's going to have the cripple against the Janus portal to get through those portals, and for the Serqet that wants to engage so greatly. And just like that, Neilmah sticking to their guns. It's going to be the Cabrakan for Kiki yet again.
And it's going to be the Anhur for DayToRemeber yet again. Last time around against the Artemis, he looked absolutely fantastic, was able to separate himself by almost 2.5 levels at one point, just by finding superior farm and the 1v1 potential here and there. So a couple of different spots for Cope as they switch things up with the Izanami, the Agni. We're going to see Rataoskr on MExiety. Neilmah, on the other hand, like you said, looks the same all down the line.
Double Guardian for both teams. Neilmah with Sylvanus, Cabrakan, Sobek, and the Geb for Cope is still the problem. That's a lot of control for this team. Between the Agni Bomb Stones, the Geb Cataclysm knockup, Sobek has the pluck, the tail whip as well. It's looking like a very interesting composition. There should be a lot of fireworks once these teams start grouping up in the mid game for these 5-on-5s.
Yeah, I'm definitely very excited. Skeeledon on the Serqet as well. This is an interesting choice for Skeeledon. He has had a lot of time on these junglers that have sort of wiggle room as far as their execution is concerned, and I think that's a good look. Skeeledon now on the Serqet, one of the hardest gods, in my opinion, to really play at optimal levels in the Smite Pro League here. Skeeledon is definitely going to have to kick it into overdrive.
I would say high risk, high reward for playing Serqet at this point in time. It's not like it was back in Season 2 whenever you had the purification beads that would give you some cooldown reduction. Right. So not only would you be offensive and look for kills, your purification would save you from danger as well as giving you another escape or maybe even another opportunity to find a kill. So this time around, both junglers here, actually going to be double Guardians here on the right-hand side. All the rotation from Balentine has been made on the right side.
Very interested to see how Cope works out on this Sobek. Honestly, we've seen him on a lot of offensive gods, some devastating assassins and some obviously strong warriors. but we have yet to see him on the Sobek today.
No, not at all. And we haven't seen much Sobek at all in the solo lane in Season 4 thus far. It's just been a situation where there's been a lot of warriors with the inclusion of some Rataoskrs here and there.
Now, is that because Sobek just isn't a good pick? Are the others a little bit better? Or has it just simply been luck of the draw, these players aren't picking him?
It's the lack of clear in the laning phase at levels 1 and 2, which is so important. It leaves you very vulnerable for some invades, and that's been the name of the game, the proxy farming. And Balentine stuck in an awkward situation, forced to use the shell, and with the knockup, not going to be able to find the kill. I like the strategy that Cope had there. He was trying to find a plug under the tower there. This is why we see that double Guardian composition, maybe baiting out Skeeledon and Kiki next to that tower, find the plug, and then continue another more CC chain with a knockup.
Look at Izanami right here. Sops is literally under tower because his support is on the other side of the map. NeiruMah is just going to sit here and zone. Sops has, this is just, now I attacked Sops before. I said that he was kind of lackluster as far as the earlier games are concerned. This one, not as bad. This is the team decision to empower a different position over Sops, and that's not always a bad choice. Neilmah is intentionally, or excuse me, Cope is intentionally leaving Sops out to dry in order to leverage their power on the right side of the map.
And MExiety has been in the mid lane for a little bit of time, trying to find some plays onto Venenu, trying to shut him down or maybe force out an early purification beads, but that hasn't been the case at all. He's been playing very careful, avoiding MExiety's aggression. So as a result now, we see the rotation being made under those right side mid harpies. Balentine finally leaving Cope alone to be able to solo farm, and as a result of the sharing of the experience, Kiki has this 1 level lead over Cope, who is already struggling for the lane clear.
Right now, this Agni, I have all my eyes on Agni. I really, you know, all 2 of my eyes on Agni. I'm very excited. I think Agni is a stellar choice. Even here in Season 4, his clear isn't numero uno, but especially if you're going up against Janus, his clear is relatively similar. And the Agni, there's so many options for Agni to go as far as build path, and the long-range stun is fantastic. We saw Chaos just crush with it earlier.
I'm surprised that he went for the Sands of Time on the Agni.
Me too.
Considering the fact that he doesn't have to use like any mana during the bomb at all. So it almost seems that he would be more efficient by going for any other starter item.
Yeah, Agni is notoriously one of the most mana efficient mages because of the fact that his ultimate costs 0 mana. So with that in mind, it is kind of curious. Kiki gets served up and blocked. Tail whip is strong. Kiki doesn't have a dash or anything. It's really just the movement speed. Stunned out is good. If the tower dive comes out, that's a dead solo.
The meditation bought him a little bit of time. In the air is MExiety. He's going to land right back onto Venenu, but through space and time, perfectly preventing the knockup, bailing him out of danger, going back under the safety of his tier 1 tower.
I really liked that play coming out from the from MExiety, the Rataoskr. He immediately goes up to the sky, not looking for the kill underneath the tower, but anticipating this is a pro level match. If we're harassing the solo laner for this amount of time, there has to be a rotation. He's obviously correct, and he forces out the ultimate from the Janus. Had that been any other character, that's first blood, but it's Janus. He forces out the ult, which is just as good.
Very solid. Left-hand side, Skeeledon made the rotation to help DayToRemeber invade that purple buff, taking away more experience away from Sops. And we've seen what DayToRemeber has been capable of when you give him a little bit of a lead compared to the last game. He's already 2 levels ahead of Sops. Well, now 1, as Sops is level 6.
Well, earlier, yeah, it's about a level and a half, and earlier, yeah, we were seeing Sops just be completely zoned out, unable to really achieve any experience because of the fact that, well, the support was just sitting there and was going to kill him had he walked off of the tower. So now finally being able to farm the wave, Sops has to feel a little bit better.
With the Anhur coming back into the laning phase, he's going to have the Ninja Tabby available. He's going to be looking for a lot of offensive plays here. And like we mentioned before, it's not only just the Anhur playing aggressively, it's the Anhur playing aggressively with the mindset, the fact that he has this Janus in the mid lane to be able to just throw out the portals whenever he needs to.
Balentine with the rollout, looking for the first blood on DayToRemeber. But DayToRemeber jumps right over the carpet pole. Not able to be a victim this time.
Not quite yet. A lot of members from Cope's team is still around the goal here, but electing not to start it up. It's still way too early at this point. Level 7 Agni hasn't back to base yet to finish any items, whereas we see the Janus on Venenu finishing off those shoes to the Magi. And this is the point in time where a team fight off of that alone could be started.
Yeah, the early penetration with that Janus is certainly going to be a big difference versus the Agni. So we'll have to keep our peepers on that mid lane and just see when Agni opts to go back. Stuck under the tower is going to be Venenu. Everybody else on the other side grouping up for those gremlins. Shoutouts to Aggro with the gremlins title.
Skeeledon able to get those oracles on the left-hand side, and now he's looking for a potential gank in the duel, and he's going to force out the ultimate, and with the ultimate from DayToRemeber, that's going to secure the first blood of the game. I like the idea yet again from Serqet, locking down Izanami. All that damage over time from the ultimate is what it's all about, to reveal the stealth.
Kiki again gets served up, and Tail will be strong, but I've seen this episode. Kiki's going to be fine.
He has to meditate also, so he has no worries or qualms about any potential 1v2 at this early laning phase. He also has Mark of the Vanguard to be able to survive a little bit further. There's a little bit of damage over time with MExiety's circle abilities, so just making sure he has all the tools at the right disposal, and yet again, going for Swift Wing.
And also picking up the idea of that starter item, the tanky starter item, Mark of the Vanguard. You're going up against the Sobek, so you know you're going to be plucked behind the archers. You know you're going to take a lot of poke coming out from the minions. Mark of the Vanguard is fantastic when it comes to defending against that minion damage. So absolutely the right choice. And like you said, the Swift Wing, this is teleport light. If you're not going to opt for teleport, we see the level 1 meditation coming out for the Cabrakan player, KikiSoCheeky. The Swift Wing is sort of a way to alleviate the issue not having teleport.
It also gives you about 10 HP 5, so it's going to give you a lot of sustain whenever you're running around and looking for more action. You're going to stay into these team fights a little bit longer, so that could be another mindset and a goal of having an additional 5% movement speed with the Swift Wing. Is going to put you in a position to find somebody with that active steroid that does so much damage on a Cabrakan. It's very surprising damage. That's why it's called Fat Loki.
Absolutely. Well, it's actually very interesting that you bring up the Fat Loki nickname, because I think we're seeing the second era of Cabrakan play, which I don't know if I would hit him with the Fat Loki tag. Once upon a time, when Cabrakan first came out, he was looked at. Many characters go through different iterations, even without changes to the character's kit. And once upon a time, when he first came out, he was a jungler, basically, almost exclusively. And we saw heavy damage builds come out. Polynomicon and Soul Reaver were almost must-buys, and his whole gimmick was you get the stun, you basic, and you hope they're dead already.
Well, he still has enough base damage to be justified as a burst god. Great pluck from Cope. I believe he did spot out the rotation coming from Skeeledon. There was a ward there underneath that fire giant pit. One above, one under. It's always been a great opportunity to look for these wards, especially against aggressive junglers.
Cope's sitting there saying thank you. The ultimate out of Cabrakan saves the wave from walking underneath the tower. You always like to talk about how small, tiny things can really have a huge impact in the solo lane. What if those four minions worth of gold create the next item for Sobek?
And on top of this, the 4 minions that have been stuck there, this puts Sobek even in more position right behind his tower, and that could potentially bait Kiki a little bit further in. And now NeiruMah almost taunting out the...
Nice knock-up, 3-man for the money. MExiety finds the initiation. DayToRemeber very low, has to exit down south. That's going to be a kill onto Skeeledon, and Venenu gets him back. Viper down.
Great ultimate from Venenu. He's been on point with these Januses thus far. The rotation from Cope, trying to find the lockdown onto NeiruMah. The portal is so close. He barely gets it. He's going to be able to survive, but this could give a little bit of a window to maybe start up the Gold Fury. Everybody's here, but instead, going to go for the more guaranteed play, taking away the red and the purple. Great rotation from Cope.
I wouldn't be surprised to see if there's a pause on the side of Cope because somebody broke their keyboard. Neilmah escaped there with, I think, exactly 2 HP.
Either way,
that's infuriating.
It is, but at the same time, it isn't, because you're rewarded with 2 buffs of your own.
Very true. Sometimes you don't always need the kill. To be fair, if NeiruMah dies there, you have the exact same result.
Yes, pretty much. With the exception of getting like maybe an additional 100 to 150 gold.
You get 100 gold for the kill on NeiruMah right there, and he leaves. He doesn't get experience for 5 seconds his respawn timer is,
pretty
maybe?
much at this point. So great.
It's not that big of a deal, but just the frustration factor. You see that guy walk through the portal. That's that. You want to use an old school Smite term? That's that pon-pon luck.
Well, either way, though, you got to have the players onto your squad to be able to get you back onto focus, to find the objectives, and that's exactly what happened there. They were like, okay, he got away, that's fine, we'll get him next time. We're going to get away these buffs, and they were even considering potentially going for the Gold Fury. We saw one player going up north while we did see Cope start up the red buff instead. So having that communication on your team is so important to be able to maximize the efficiency of any advantage you have in a 5-on-4 or even 5-on-3 play.
Nice little zigzag coming out from Skeeledon. More defensive than offensive, if I'm completely honest right there. Just wanted to really avoid the trap that was going to be Geb. Venenu joins up in the mid lane. And as we're 11 minutes into our contest right here, everything's about all tied up. 1,000 gold in the way of NeiruMah, or Neilmah specifically, but not too big of a deal.
At this point, definitely not that big of a deal. Gold Fury hasn't been looked at by either team. It's still going to be the question of the next team fight. Once these level 12s start coming around the corner, the second relics will start being purchased, and that's when the action is really going to start to pick up.
So Kiki now looking for the control. Nice little dash away from Cope to get out of there. Yeah, the damage from the Cabrakan, it's definitely, the burst damage has definitely fallen from that Fat Loki build, from the Fat Loki builds of yesteryear. But still a lot of damage comes out on this character, especially early in the game. You drop down, I was talking to Trickstank before, who likes this character more and more, both in the support and the solo lane. And Cabrakan just has so much damage early on. You drop down the 3, the tremors, and players just get stuck. And before boots, you don't know what to do.
It was also the combination of the purple pot that used to be a very early consumable purchase for the Cabrakan players, specifically onto Zalia, who loved to run the Cabrakan in the solo lane with the purple pot. Found multiple early first bloods around the level 2 or 3, surprising a lot of people that weren't quite used to playing against the Cabrakan that had that much magical damage that early on.
Now, one of the strategies that actually still transfers over to today in that solo lane is the bait of the hit. What happens is you'll see a lot of Cabrakans bait themselves into getting hit by the opponent, which triggers all of the minions to attack the enemy. Then you immediately go into the ground pound, and while the guy's sitting there dizzy and trying to escape, you're hitting him, your minions are hitting him, and all of a sudden your opponent is down to 50% HP, and he's asking himself, how?
Something we haven't actually talked about this game was all the chalices being picked up here from Cope is still the problem. They have 3 vision chalices, and this is giving them a lot of vision control all over the map.
Those are the health pots, aren't? Oh no, you're right. You are. When you're right, you're right. The red is going to be vision, and if you're newer to season 4, those are basically refillable ward bags. Every time you go back to base, you get a whole bunch of wards for free, and you pay about 300 gold for the item at first. So it's an investment, but it certainly looks like it's going to pay off. If you take a look at the map, there are red dots all over the place. So Cope definitely has a lot of vision here.
Absolutely, and Gap already, there's going to be a lot of engagement in the mid lane to pull onto Viper here. Nice Cataclysm to prevent the engage from Skeeledon. Landing on the backhand side is the Rataoskr. Nice pluck onto Skeeledon. He's going to fall as well.
Finding the pluck right there in traffic after the dash. Excellent Sobek play. And sops is going to follow it up with another kill on the Guardian. Kiki in a bit of trouble here. He's frozen. He's going to be stuck in the middle of the lane.
Another pluck.
And again, served up by the Sobek. Dashing forward as MExiety can't find the kill. Kiki's gonna live for the moment.
It was a great meditate to buy him some time. A nice beat from DayToRemeber, preventing the portal from finding its target, finding the 3 kills rather earlier on. And now they have to be careful about this engagement because Kiki's here now with his second relic to teleport through space and time used off the mark, but unstable vortex finding the target. 2 clean-up kills because Cope's still the problem. Wanted to stick around a little too long.
Well, you know what? Right there, I can't even go with you to attack Cope is still the problem. It was just a fantastic heads-up play by Kiki. DayToRemeber's in trouble, finds the stun onto MExiety. There's the ground pound, has to be canceled out. Skeeledon finds the kill. He's dead. He's totally toasted. No way that MExiety survives, and there it is. He's gone. 5 kills in total for Neilmah, and 2 of them belong to the jungle.
And now Sylvanus is going to keep everybody topped off. Gold Fury being started at the 15-minute mark. It's only Balentine around the corner. Nice zoning from Kiki.
Gold Fury.
is going to prevent it. The teleport is happening. They should have not killed that ward. They should have allowed the teleport to come through for Cope and just surround him 5v1, find another kill, and that's going to allow Kiki to just outfarm him.
So again, Cope is still the problem. You lamented the fact that they stayed a little bit too long, and really, if you're looking at where I'm looking from, Toli, I just got to cake my hat off to Kiki. So we always talk about, we were just talking about how the Swift Wing is teleport light, because theoretically, your solo laner can do more with two real relics, right? Teleport is a non-relic. It's just a way to get back into the lane. And right there, that's when teleport's not the non-relic. That's its battle application. And by picking up the level 1 meditation, nobody buys a level 12 teleport because the usefulness is already over.
Exactly, and this is the second time. The last time I remember a teleport being picked up after level 12 that's made a huge impact in the game, I'm thinking back in Season 2 Worlds, Fnatic versus Enemy, Chaos picking up that teleport there to make a huge turnaround team fight behind that Fire Giant.
Absolutely, he was playing the Zhang Kui.
Yes.
Absolutely, yeah. And those are the moments because it's the surprise factor. A lot of times you see that with Blink, and this tier 1 tower is gonna go down. It was not about protecting that 500 gold bounty, it was about the turnaround fight, the kills, and the gold fury after the fact. Blink and teleport have an advantage when the opponent doesn't know it's coming. Kiki teleports in, and everybody on Cope goes, wait, he has teleport? And the whole thing snowballs from there. This 3,000 gold lead can be looked at as a result of the purchase of Kiki teleport. Love that play.
And the question is, what can they do from here on out? Kiki's looking for the ultimate to zone them out, but a nice knockup is going to prevent it. DayToRemeber forced to take the portal. He's also Aegis out, and he's going to get focused out by Viper, not having that jump in time to avoid it. Taking a lot. Ooh, nice Aegis preventing that unstable vortex.
Kiki's in trouble this time around, 25%. It's going to be a lot lower. Finds a stun, but it's just not good enough. Sops gets credit for the kill. 2-1-1 for our Izanami. Kills are tied up, but the gold still separated by about 2,000 gold. Cope looking for the siege here. If they're able to take this tier 1 tower, tier 2 tower, things will be all but tied.
They have a nice pluck again onto Skeeledon. He gets eliminated right off the bat. That's 3 dead on the side of Neilmah. Cope grouped up as 5 under the tier 2. Grabbed that objective, no problem. They're not going to be able to continue during the Phoenix. Gold Fury still down for another 2 minutes. No Portal Demon to take either. Fire Giant would be a little ambitious with Kiki respawning in 10 seconds. Always have to worry about that teleport relic now on Kiki.
Yeah, that's gonna be a big impact. And right away, Neilmah get to change the way that they play, and Cope has to change the way that they play as well with that teleport in the game. And it's just so fun because teleport is like I said, teleport's a non-relic because it's there for the laning phase a lot of time, and you get an okie doke kind of teleportation across the map for a gold fury, but it's not a shell, it's not a sprint, it's not a meditation. But now that it's bought at level 12, all of a sudden we're having a conversation about it.
Absolutely, and it's going to synergize very well in the late game with NeiruMah's Chalice, the Vision Chalice, if he holds on to it, whether or not he wants to get rid of that slot so he can pick up some rituals instead. A lot of the time, there might be some situations in the mid to late game where you might not have a ward, but as long as you still have your Chalice that you haven't been using, then you could still synergize that with the teleport. So Kiki now finishing off the Void Stone and the Height of Nemi line. He really wants to go dive that back line, making Sop's life more obnoxious.
Yeah, that Void Stone is going to allow him to do some extra damage to the players that he does wind up hitting. But that Nemean Lion, I mean, you're looking at the bases coming out from Sops mainly, but also the Rataoskr. Believe it or not, Rat winds up dealing a lot of basic attacks in between his whirlwind of abilities. He lands on you from the sky, you get knocked up, you get hit by the stun and the little tail whip thingamajigger, and then all of a sudden you're just getting hit by a squirrel paw.
And you're also getting a little bit of mana out of that item, so you're going to be able to spam your abilities whenever you really want to. Having a little bit of cooldown reduction with the Shoes of Focus puts him in a decent position in these team fights, and with a meditation buying him some time as well, Kiki's always going to be looking for those abilities.
So right now, as we take a look across the board as far as our builds are concerned, look at the Geb right here. Really interesting choice here I want to point out is the Gauntlet of Thebes. This item has been This item has a storied history. One of the quickest fixed items, I think, of all time in Smite. At one point, it was just completely busted. They fixed it in about 6 hours. Then it got changed to more of a HP 5 item and kind of disappeared for a while. But now it's Season 4, the new iteration, it's being picked up right away.
So Season 3, the item used to give you increased healing received, and now that passive has been removed, and now instead you have an aura around you, giving your allies magical and physical protections of 20.
And that's a really big choice. That's basically the third cousin of the Sovereignty and the Heartward Amulet family. Kiki is going to drag everybody else here to see the party. It's almost as if Kiki went out to invite Cope is still the problem, to watch his team take the objective. And with it, 1,600 gold in the lead is Neilmah. They have the lead back right after Cope tied the game.
And Cabrakan is a great god to be able to zone away from the Gold Fury, especially when everyone from Cope's team is still coming from the mid lane. You can choke them out with the ultimate right above the mid-harpy area, preventing them from coming in. So you just have to coming from different angles if you want to contest that objective.
Yeah, you see these entrances to the jungle, the one that basically all of them are generally the same size, and the Cabrakan ultimate is exactly that size. The whole semicircle will fit in this corridor that you see Skeeledon walking through. The entire ultimate is going to block that off. So if you're coming into the Gold Fury by way of the mid harpies, that entire walkway can just be completely walled off, and that's really just Kiki that's his job, is to play zone.
And that's why that second Gold Fury was so easily taken from Neilmah, not wanting to put themselves in that position, because also that could have been a bait. All of a sudden they're walking through, and then instead of a zoning ultimate from Kiki, all of a sudden it's a trapping ultimate, and all the cooldowns are being used from Neilmah.
You can either lock him out, or you can lock him in. And if that's the case, everything is going to show up. All of a sudden, you're stuck at the tremors. Venenu's launching the ultimate, and everybody's just down for the count. So certainly not going to be.
How does that saying go? I'm not trapped in with you. You're trapped in with me. Yeah. That's what Kiki's probably thinking as he throws out that ultimate.
Yeah, Rorschach from the Watchmen. Usually you hear that with Odin.
Yeah, that's true.
But this time, still going to be thought about with Kiki. Here he's trapping a Viper who's able to dash out of there. Here comes the jungler looking to punish Kiki. He's in a lot of trouble, and the damage is not going to be enough to confirm the kill. Kiki gets out of there, still being chased. Cope trying to find it, but just walks into the rest of the team.
The damage was being done onto Viper. He had to retreat earlier on, and he couldn't follow up any sort of damage onto Kiki.
Big deal. Kiki has to teleport. He's right back in it.
And that's going to be another portal demon being started from Neilmah. They found a kill onto Cope, who was caught in a nice Anhur obelisk. Nowhere to go in that position. Portal demon being taken by Neilmah. Viper in a lot of trouble as well. He's going to use the dash for now, but NeiruMah with Kiki looking for more action. The unstable vortex, max range, finding Viper.
And again, gotta tip the hat to Kiki's Cabrakan. Now, he didn't do it without the ground pound coming out. Viper walks away from Venenu's unstable vortex. The exact amount of slow provided sticks him there, and Venenu's able to nail the max range unstable vortex. Kiki combines with his mid laner right there for the absolute flawless combination of abilities, allowing Neilmah to win the team fight. 54,000 to 51,000 here is the gold count. Neilmah leading by both gold and kills, 7-6. Right now, Venenu's in a little bit of trouble, but he'll walk away.
2 abilities, and Venenu's already at half health. Now, partially that was due to Heartseeker being at 5 stacks, giving the next additional ability that 100% extra physical damage. So, overall, I like this pickup here from the item of the Heartseeker recently in Season 4.
Uh-oh. Support going to be in some trouble. Balentine there. Ultimate from Kiki is online, but will not be used just yet. And that's the right choice. We've seen teams punch themselves in the foot by committing to the support too late in the game. And right now, if you take a look at the Geb's build, that guy is tanky. You certainly don't want to blow all of your abilities on the Geb.
He has the HP 5 for his team, he has the MP 5 for his team, and now he's given magical and physical protections for his team. And on top of that, he has the reinforced Greaves, which is going to negate a lot of this damage over time between the Serqet ultimate, the damage over time from the Sylvanus Wisps, and the Rataoskr, on top of the tremors coming from the Cabrakan. And don't forget, the Anhur ultimate also has technically some damage over time as he fires 8 different spears.
I love tank boost boots on Geb. Tank boots are criminally underpurchased in my opinion, but specifically on Geb, because I feel like when you're looking at characters like, namely Sobek, when obviously Bacchus, you're looking for that damage is icing on the cake. Bacchus a little bit more intense as the damage, but when you're looking at a character like Sobek, you'll take the damage, sure. Geb's not doing much. I mean, real talk, if you get up close and personal and hit him with the knock-up, sure, you're able to deal damage. But Geb's not really doing much damage, so just say goodbye to all the power and go max tank.
And on top of this, people forget about Geb's passive, actually. It reduces critical strike damage down to 25%. And with the Hunters now electing to go for this heavy crit build between the Poison Star and the Wind Demon, that negates all like 25, only 25% of 100.
That's a great point. The big point about the Geb is the fact that like you said, the build, but also the fact that Naja is such a prevalent pick. When as soon as you pick Geb, you're not eliminating the choice of the Naja, but it's certainly a less attractive option when there are other characters. And speaking of which, Skeeledon on the Serqet also going to run into issues with that pass.
Kiki zoning on the top side. He's going to use that ultimate defensively. Venenu through space and time, getting his team in position, having to dash away his Viper, diving his Skeeledon. He's going to fall to Viper. Landing back down is the Rataoskr, not finding any kills quite yet. The ultimate of Izanami doing a little bit. Cope doing a 1v2, zoning away DayToRemeber, but now he's caught in an awkward position. The rest of the team's just regrouping. Only one death on Skeeledon.
Neilmah going to start with the Gold Fury right here. Basics out of DayToRemeber are devastating. Critting for 5-1-6. Shouts to Long Island. And it just can't deal with it. So much damage coming out from the Hunter.
It's lit.
Oh, well, there you go.
It's lit.
From Long Island to lit. Gold Fury under control. Not going to be stolen this time around. It's Cope is still the pro. Was stolen. That is stolen. That's all Neilmah's.
Neilmah did get the Gold Fury. They were able to confirm it themselves. DayToRemeber is going to sacrifice his own life for the Gold Fury. MExiety finding the kill there. And now Cope and Balentine, they want to be able to chase somebody else down and maybe find this tier 1 tower. Venenu is looking mighty tasty here. Finding the plug onto Kiki, but it's only Balentine with Cope, so it's not going to be able to find that big tanky Guardian.
Balentine just hits him with the Geb auto. Just like, all right, Cope, I'll help. Boom, hits him for about 25 damage, and Kiki just waddles away. Not that big a deal, but that's a big deal. Stuck under the tower. The tower shots are hurting, but Cope's the one that winds up with the kill. Skeely's able to capitalize and take out the jungler. Cope gets help from a little bit of assistance. 1 HP. Skeely gets the double kill. Venenu answers back as well. Viper down for the count. Skeely on his last legs, using the taunt to secure himself. And that's going to be the death of Balentine as long as Venenu can find the unstable vortex. No, never mind. Skeely's back in it. Trip skis for the jungler.
Everything was on cooldown there. He could easily come back in. That was a 4-for-0 exchange. They did find Kiki in the process though, but definitely worth it there. Sacrificing your soul laner for 4 easy kills. Viper even dashing in aggressively against Venenu's Janus yet again, just doing so much damage. You have to respect the damage output between this unstable vortex.
Yeah, it's out of control. These guys are really going nuts. I think NeiruMah is pulling out all the stops, honestly. This is, I did not expect this team to look as strong as this is right now. And 2, let's get back into the game. Right now.
Right meow.
Did you just meow?
No.
Okay. I was just asking. So how are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling pretty good right now.
Did you just meow?
No.
Okay, just asking. Portal Demon's the target right here.
Do I look like a cat?
I'm not going to answer that one. Neilmah right here is looking for the Portal Demon. Skeeledon hops over the top, and that'll confirm the Portal Demon. And this time I'll actually get them right. They didn't steal it from themselves. It's still so confusing to me, man. Last season triggered me. For those of you that don't know, we used to have a little bit more of a notification on the Gold Fury and the Fire Giant. You get used to it. You lean on the crutch.
Fair enough.
And when they took it away, man, like it was really rough for me last season. It was a whole year of getting over it. And I tackled it. I really did. And then somebody said something to me, and I started to think about it again recently. And since then, man, I'm sitting there triple guessing myself.
You know what you need, F. Dot? You need some namaste in your life.
Namaste?
Yes.
Nah, I'ma stay. Balentine right here. He's going to stay as well for the moment. Gets a little stunned out. Not going to be the case. He's not trapped.
Neilmah, 29 minutes into the game, still with a comfortable lead right now. It's not insurmountable for Cope's team to come back into this. Currently about 6,500 gold up or so is Neilmah. Still trying to hold on to this Fire Giant area. Currently, Neilmah looking to put pressure either in the right-hand side or maybe look for a pick and then go into the Fire Giant.
This is that Season 3 Fire Giant dance. We used to see teams do this for about 5 to 10 minutes at any point in time. And right now, we're going to get a taste of it. Neilmah right here going to look for the positioning.
We see Cope in the thick of things, using the ultimate, trying to be aggressive now, and with a sprint being popped, it's going to help get people out of danger. Nice 3-man knock-up. Skeeledon dive in the backline as well. Through space and time, is going to strip away Sops' health pool. Kiki's going to be the first victim.
MExiety gets credit for the kill. Cope on the backside gets greeted by a mid laner. DayToRemeber blasted out the ultimate, more for CC immunity than anything else, but Cope is still the problem. They don't have a lot of HP. Big crits. DayToRemeber gets the kill. That's a dozen for Neilmah. And they're not done yet. Venenu opening the portal, walking right on through, not going to surprise anybody. And with a half hour on the clock, Neilmah still looking for more. Sops back into the jungle. That's a bad choice. Here, we'll help you back to the base. Venenu sends him back forcefully.
Lazy back out of Sops. He thought he was out of danger there until Janus took his own portal, got in a position to stop that. The mobility with the threshold from Janus is just too much. Plucking NeiruMah back into danger under that tier 2 tower with the knockup. Will find the kill. Overall, 2 for 2 after all the dust is settled.
Now that's twice that we've seen Neilmah. Skeeledon Thor walled off a teammate. This time around, DayToRemeber drops the obelisk right in front of his support. Unfortunately, the teamwork is harder than it seems, but the tier 2 tower goes down, and I'm sure any support player that's worth their salt is sitting there going, you know what? I'd die for my team to get a tier 2. No problem.
Absolutely. I thought Kiki was going to dive that for a split second there, using his ultimate to try to be able to find another kill onto Viper potentially. Instead, looking to play really safe, not wanting to put any more pressure, looking to kind of wait for this Skull Fury as it's about to respawn in 10 seconds or so. And looking at his build right now, he is also going for the Stone of Fall, so he's going to be able to survive a lot of damage here from these Agni bombs.
So when it comes down to it, the Stone of Fall is going to prevent burst damage.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's the Stone of Binding. I'm sorry. It looks very similar. It's just repositioned from the left
which is
to
honestly
the right.
Even a better shot. Stone of Binding is going to add extra damage onto anybody that you crowd control. So once somebody gets slammed by that stun out of the Cabrakan, all of a sudden they're taking more damage, and that is where the Fat Loki comes in. He's going to set up his team to burst his target down. Everybody shading over to the right side. Meanwhile, Neilmah, he's just going to, DayToRemeber is just going to sit here and go for the Gold Fury.
Viper, though, is going to force the reset. It's one bomb down, so it's just going to be another attempt here. He doesn't really have to worry about much DayToRemeber because he does have the lifesteal with the Aussie, doing a lot of damage once the crits come online, which is a fairly high percentage chance with Wind Demon and the Poison Star anyway.
I would have almost liked to see DayToRemeber just stay there, play the chicken game with the Agni, force more players to come over to the left side, and that would open the Fire Giant to Neilmah.
The problem is his beads were down, so DayToRemeber doesn't want to flirt with danger there. If he gets caught off in 1 CC, he's dead to rights.
Yeah. I just would have liked to see the Okie Doke play.
You can't always force the issue after that. I'm sorry.
Okay. Can I trade you for aggro yet?
No, not yet.
Oh,
do you want a fat egg, really?
Man.
Would you rather have a fat egg?
Right now, neither of these teams want a goose egg in their column. They want to find the win here. Neilmah and Cope is still the problem. Tied up with a third team, Noble, to see who winds up in the Smite Pro League. DayToRemeber gets bounced up, will prevent the damage. Great reaction time on that Aegis. Cope is going to be stuck here, lurking in the waters. Sops gets the kill on Skeeledon. Didn't even see that. That's a huge kill. Skeely has been a gigantic part of what has been successful for Neilmah. NeiruMah gets a kill. Everybody low. Cope is on his last legs. Look at the control. Big crit onto Sops.
And with that, the portal is going to force Venenu to go even further in despite the 1-to-1 ratio. Neilmah lost Skeeledon at first, but they're still getting the better end of things because of the damage from DayToRemeber, the sustain from NeiruMah, as well as the control that Kiki provides with his tremors just all over the place, making people so wobbly that they can't really aim correctly.
Absolutely. You know, actually, so is tremors considered a hard CC?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I'm not sure.
I'm not 100%.
I'm going to have to double check on that simply because of the fact that that Stone of Binding would interact with that. So at this point, I think it's just stuns, etc. And I'm sure everybody in chat that knows everything about the game is correcting us right now. But I'm going to do my research after this match specifically and find out if that Tremors will trigger the Stone.
Well, whether or not the Tremors will activate it, you also have 2 stuns. Oh, Cope tried to bait, but he got baited himself. There was nobody behind Cope. Whether or not he found the plug alone, all 5 members of Neilmah expected that play, took the portal simultaneously, baited out Kiki first because of how tanky he is, and now guaranteeing themselves the Fire Giant. 10,000 gold in the lead.
Cope is still the problem. No, I'm just kidding, folks. I don't think Cope is the problem at all. I think he's had a fantastic game, to be honest with you. But that play right there is just so comical because you know Cope was so confident. He's sitting there like, as soon as they walk through that portal, I'm going to get him, I'm going to get him.
And the portal's from Venenu through space and time. Viper in a lot of trouble. Cabrakan ultimate, nowhere to go. Kiki fighting Viper.
Sops still trouble under the tower. Kiki leading the charge, looking for the play. Man, the rotation out of the mid lane has proved fruitful for the solo laner. And I say the solo laner. Kiki is a natural solo laner.
And Venenu with the Janus has just been on point. The blink from Skeeledon trying to find Sops. He's going to get revealed by MExiety diving, forcing Kiki to get knocked up. The Phoenix does get taken out. Skeeledon dropping to MExiety. Cope has revived. He's lurking in the water, trying to find a plug potentially. Unstable Vortex doing a little bit of damage, but the sustain between Fire Giant and NeiruMah is enough to get out of dodge.
Yeah, it should be totally good.
13,000 gold in the lead is Neilmah. 36 minutes into the game. Fire Giant on their belts for another 2.5 minutes or so. They're looking like they're in the driver's seat. And currently, this is the overtime, folks. There's 3 teams here. Neilmah, Cope is still the problem, as well as
Noble.
And with this, whoever wins this needs to win 1 more. So if you win 2 out of 3 here, you're guaranteed to go into the SPL Season 4.
I have a question for you, Anatoly. Where is dodge? Why do you want to get out of dodge so badly?
I don't know. Sometimes you got to get in there, like swimwear.
Yeah, you said that before.
And then sometimes you just got to get out of dodge.
I did not acknowledge when you said in there like swimwear. You thought you were the most clever person on the planet, and I was not going to give you the time of day.
Hey, why are you giving me the time of day for this one?
But yesterday, did you hear when I said that the Fenrir player was an animal?
I probably blanked on that one. I'm not sure if I was casting with you on that one.
No, it was Hinduman, and I said it. I had to say it twice in a row for him to notice. And Hinduman doesn't like fun, so. Tier 1 tower being aggressed on by Neilmah. They have a large lead, and right now Cope is still the problem, is basically just playing a game of hurry up and wait. They can't really defend out on the map. They have to defend in the tight space that is the Phoenix.
Trying to find this tier 2 tower without any sort of contention. Neilmah is going to start putting pressure on this left side Phoenix. And now, Cope's still the problem. They pushed out the right lane so far, and with the tier 2 tower gone, that they're actually going to give up this left side Phoenix, hoping that Sops can return a Phoenix of his own on the right-hand side. But the members from Neilmah are backing in time.
It's too late. Sops going to credit. He's absolutely going to get it. The Titan's Bane allows him just enough penetration to be able to get the tower.
The portal, the blink, the through space and time. 1-3-3-9. 2 more than the lead. Doesn't matter. Finds the kill. And this could be all she wrote. That one pick in a 5v4 spot with 2 Phoenixes down could be the nail in the coffin for Cope.
Oh, trapped. Perfect wall coming out from the solo lane. Cabrakan. Copebby gonna run away. Nice little stun coming out onto NeiruMah. Cope still safe under the tower. Big control on a Viper. There it is. Down. Not quite yet, but Cope. He's gonna get knocked up. Great play out of NeiruMah. There's Kiki on the backside. Double kill for the solo laner. Still not done just yet. Copebby barely alive. Triple kill for Kiki. Out of control.
Finding the kills that he needs. It's a 4-on-2 right now. MExiety landing onto Venenu, knocking him up, but it's not going to matter too much. Titan is at 50% health almost. Trying to go for even more kills instead of the Titan. Finding MExiety. Balentine's going to go into the fountain. First game of overtime going in the way of Neilmah.
KikiSoCheeky. back to his former position and back to his former glory.
With Cabrakan especially, a very unconventional pick, I would say, in Season 4 without Purple Pot being purchasable in the early game. Beautifully played all throughout by Kiki.
Yeah, just absolutely.
And Venenu.
And again, the adaptation. You guys know that that's my favorite thing. Anytime a player deviates from their norm or the standard of meta and picks something up differently, love that. Love to celebrate it. The level 12 pickup of the teleport, the new items, the Stone of Binding. Love the situation that Kiki, just absolutely fantastic. Kiki put the team on his back this game.
Loki. He went for the level 1 meditation to start things off. He bought so much time in the early game when MExiety tried to look for those early ganks with Cope to try to find some kills. Couldn't quite find it and allowed Kiki to get off in a good position in the mid to late game.
Absolutely fantastic. That's going to be the first game of our tiebreak series. As again, Noble, Cope is still a problem, and Neilmah all tied up. Neilmah have
Only
one game above each other. And before we head to break, I just want to educate. Dodge, a city in Kansas, back from the old Wild West days. If Gandhi was here, he'd tell you a story. It was a dangerous town, and it's a dangerous place to leave and go anywhere but here. So stay tuned. We'll be back with the remainder and crown the victor of our new SPL team.